All right, thanks, Ernie. Well, good evening. And a couple of side notes. I heard someone say about polite on the ID. We bought a voice module for our Fusion repeater. And I was so happy because we'd lost our controller. I spent 2 months trying to interface our old controller with the Fusion repeater by a lot of things except cutting the yellow wire. That's what the guys are doing, is going inside and cutting a yellow wire. Voids the warranty instantly. Yaesu won't support it, but apparently there's some limited success with it. Plugged our voice ID'er into this repeater, and she come up with a very low-tone voice, and she talks monotone, and you can't hear it, you can't understand. So we clearly pulled and turned it back to CW because for $32 we couldn't understand her. And in the middle of a conversation, bang, she decided she was going to talk. So at least with the CW, it doesn't generally override. Well, welcome to Fusion. Fusion was a derivative of Yaesu. It has been on the boards ever since D-Star's been around. I've heard them talking about it in little wisps here and there. We ran into a crisis back in August. We lost 2 of our Kenwood repeaters. Parts were unavailable. They were 1970 vintage items, and we just got tired of it. We went out on the market, and I started researching what's available. Yep, I could have bought a handful of Motorola's and patched together a great repeater. Motorola receivers are great. I didn't want that. I wanted a plug-and-play decent repeater that I don't have time to sit there and play with this thing. So there were 2 that were in AES catalog. A Vertex for $17.99 and a Fusion for $16.99. I did the research and I came up and I said, we're going to go with the Fusion. So we spent our entire kitty, $16.99 on the Fusion. Got it, programmed it. The first thing out of the box, it's a touch screen programming on a repeater. It's either VHF or UHF, and it's both modes. And it's all programmable instantaneously, much like this unit right here. It's all touch screen. All you got to do is touch it, and she goes over to the other band. Everything is functionable from the screen, or it has buttons on the mic or stuff to bypass it. Plugged it in, and the audio was superb. It increased our coverage tremendously because we hooked it up. We ran it 20 watts, and 2 of our 4 bays are hid now under cell towers, cell tower antennas. They're going completely around the water tower, so our signal's distorted. We can't do a thing about it. We could spend $700 and raise the whole mess up 10 feet, or we can find another location, and that's what we're trying to do now, is get up a little higher with that. So the basic concept for the Fusion that D-Star missed the boat is that it doesn't exclude anybody. At the end of the day, it is just an FM repeater. The neat thing about it is, in the auto mode, Dave and I can be chatting auto, and if Chris wants to come in, all he has to do is throw out his call in FM, because we are going to hear it. It all comes back to FM, the lowest common denominator. So you ask, well, why bother with digital? Well, let me try to get into some of this stuff, and we'll try to answer that. I can't tell you why digital. I just think it works a lot better overall. This is the FT1D, pretty small, pretty hard to see. Dennis, could you send yours kind of around that area, and Dave, maybe send yours around this area real quick so people can actually see as I'm walking through some of this. Don't send the mic or the external mic. It's hard to maneuver. So at the end of the day, this little receiver is an amazing device. And you know, most people probably don't care about FM as they're going down the road. This is a triple receiver radio. This is 103.5. Someone that's got a radio on 8.6, key it up for me. Who's got a radio?
Find it first.
Oh, you're not on digital?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, this receiver will receive 1.8 megahertz to 900 megahertz on the 3rd band. That's 40 meters, 75 meters, 160 meters, all the way up through 900 megs as a third receiver, something to listen and play with. Cellular is blocked. I can't tell you if you open these up if that's blocked or not. I couldn't tell you. It's a dual band. It's a true dual band. The upper band, or band A, is the only band that's digital. Band B is strictly FM. Either band can be 440, either band can be VHF. You can have both VHF, both UHF, but the top band is only digital. All right? Let me do some audios here and see if anybody can detect a difference. KG8CW. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What mode is that? Anybody guess?
KG8CW, WA-RBJ.
Hi, Rob. I'm about to go to the dark side.
Catch you later. Okay, you got a big echo in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're on what's called digital narrow. You don't get the static. All you get is voice, big delay.
And you don't have to ID?
I'm IDing already. My call comes right up here.
That's what I was wondering.
This is tough. That's why I wanted everybody up close so you can see. Underneath the 8.6 character, you're going to see my call sign and distance. Well, we're not seeing distance, but we should. And that's coming off the digital narrow voice. So 25 kilocycles wide signal split in half. Voice on one side, data on the other. The other mode is called voice wide. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 4. Now this signal's coming through the repeater. We're in a basement, so I'm getting into the repeater good enough to carry on conversation with a half watt. I'm on low power. And that's digital. Voice wide. Testing. 1, 2, 3. So we have 4 modes of operation on any band. You have FM, you have auto mode, you have digital narrow, which transmits data, and you have voice wide. 2 digital modes, 2 FM modes. There is a mode that you cannot access, and it's only accessed when you start sending massive data like pictures. And that takes the whole 25 kilocycles for data. And we're going to do one of those. You got your camera plugged in there?
You told me to unplug it.
Well, I was going to have you pass the radio now so they could see.
You can never use it again.
A mode called group mode. This device has so many modes. They have a group mode. If we all go to group mode, it'll tell us in little square boxes that we're all on the mode and we're all distance. This has a full GPS. Both of them have GPSs. It'll show you direction to your targets. You can click on any of the call signs and bang. It'll tell you how to get to that person or place. But you have to be in group mode to take a picture. And I'll show you why. Let's take a picture here. Here's a picture.
That's a picture.
You put that one up in the post
I'm
office.
going to hold this up.
Right on.
So we get the signal. Oh, let's go this way.
Do you think that there's a limit to who you can photograph? Maybe that's why
It
it's
broke it?
This room
You
would
telling
stress
me
that.
I broke it? All right, yeah, we'll try a simplex one here. It's trying something. All right, go to the master power button.
even so.
Let's go there.
Demonstration.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an error picture there.
Almost there.
Let's move that way, we won't bother anybody. All right. Who wants to be a guinea pig now?
Smartly. Yeah.
You have two buttons. This microphone is an accessory. It's $135. It has a little camera built in. Two buttons. Take a picture, send a picture. So now I'm hoping we're sending.
The one I was surprised at today, I was looking at Gigaparts, and I don't know why they have such an incredible price on it, but they're down to $309.
We bought these for $289.
Wow.
Just before the 2D started being talked about prevalent.
But everybody else was almost $400, so,
Yeah.
but I just was surprised at that. But you get
Where was that, Russ? Hey, Russ, where was that?
Gigaparts? Gigaparts?
But the mobile is like $500, right?
$599 with a $100 rebate.
Yeah.
And that's still good until June. Okay, the mobile is a big HT. It does all the same things, and obviously it's a lot easier to look at and see. The mobile is touch screen, so you can switch from band, which I probably shouldn't have done because now it wants to see its picture. It has simple knob controls for volume and simple knob controls to change frequency. But the nice thing is, you can do most of the things from the 4 buttons on the AZU panel. Top and bottom, you can change frequencies from there. Or you can change your modes or power and VFO and open up your sculpture with those type of modes there. So everything's controlled basically from your hand. You don't have to touch the screen very often. When you do touch the screen, you end up looking at some of the stuff that you're trying to see, such as the group mode, the digital mode. In the automatic mode, you'll see the little FM. It's got a little bar across it, and that shows it's in auto mode. Your digital button here, as you push that, it'll toggle through the end and go through and the FM is white. So, in your automatic mode, and that's what I recommend all of our people to run, because that is the lowest common denominator. We're not looking to exclude anybody, but we want to be able to use it, and again, the RACES organization in Benzie County, we want to be able to be in a skyborne situation. We may actually be out there first to take a picture to send back to the EOC and show them how bad it is. It's a possibility. They may want us to go out and do damage assessment, and we don't know the first thing about it, but if we're taking pictures of these things and they can send them back and look at the assessors, now they can say, wow, we got some serious damage, we got to do something different here. So our emergency manager was really gung-ho on getting the picture capabilities from this system in operation. We are going to expand the speaker mics, and like I say, they're $135 options, so we're kind of spare on those. We've got the 2 right now for the system. What can you do with this? Well, first of all, it's APRS, which means you can track anybody, anywhere, anytime if they want you to. Uh-oh. How do you make the TV come up? I'll let you do this. I was going to show you the maps that I keep trying to get somebody here to update for repeaterbook.com. It shows the Fusion expansion in the United States, and we currently have about 7 Fusion repeaters in the state of Michigan.
How does that compare to D-Star?
You know, I've never done a search on D-Star. I know down in Lansing, they just got a grant for over $25,000. They dumped all into D-Star.
I heard nationwide it's like 30,000 D-Star.
It could be they've been out for about, what, 8 years, 10 years? Now, we're currently at 353 with today's stats. There we go. In the United States, you can see the obvious explosions around the larger metropolitan areas. But in the state of Michigan, we now have 2. You guys are up there. You have to go out there and fill out a form.
I did that today.
Okay. And then you'll pop up. KF8KK is putting a fusion up, and there may be yet another one going up. So,
Roscommon's got one.
do they?
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to this guy here. He's on a Sunday night APR SC net, and they like theirs as well. So with the interconnectivity of the wires, which is nothing more than an internet connectivity device, we could connect into a chat room that says Michigan Emergency or Races or Aries. You could name whatever room, whatever you wanted. Make a Cherryland or a Cherry Fest room or something, so people could come in and make contacts during the Cherry Fest or whatever. The rooms are assigned, and we have not got our device operational. We have internet kind of figured out from our water tower down to a Wi-Fi source. But our major thing is that I wasn't going to buy the Wires Xbox until we came out with the Gen 2, but we need to get our feet wet first, and then we'll figure it out. If it only gets easier, then we're already going to be ahead of the game. So. APRS, how many people in here even know what it is? Okay, well I haven't played with APRS until I got the Fusion. By the way, this is our website. Just to make a little plug in there. Everything I want to do is in handy-dandy little pull-down tabs, so I can just cruise around the website and get to where I want to go. Benzie County. We'll see our EOC active. All right, Keith is in town. Where is Keith? Keith's in town, his gateway. This is Don's, this is the EOC. And scrolling down. Dave. And everybody that's in here. So, APRS. Well, it doesn't show much, but let's go back 6 hours. Let's see what everybody's been doing.
60 miles an hour.
All right.
Went down the Fraser Road and Dukes of Hazzard.
So
Was that your
here's,
picture in the paper?
here's Dave. He's sitting out here now. The last time they checked in, this is all can be in real time. We've gone back 3 hours to see where everybody's traveling in the area. A lot of people going down 31. There's me coming in.
Some serious off-roading.
I was going, I'll have you know, 54 miles an hour.
Now, do you have to be on the repeater frequency in order for that to work?
No, that's the power of the Fusion. They didn't put digital on the second band because they figured you're going to run APRS, so it's strictly FM. It's a standalone system. The GPS antenna is here. There is a plug to plug in an external GPS unit, but not just an antenna. So if your unit can plug in, you can use the power of that in addition to this. But we found this to be quite effective in most instances. What you'll find in the grumblings is sometimes it can take up to 10 minutes to lock up on the birds. Sometimes it doesn't. When I first got it, it was locked up in about a minute. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And then 3-4 days later, I'm like, wow, this thing, I'm almost where I'm going and it's not locked up. And that's one of the grumblings that they're, kind of looking at as they go through this. APRS is a standalone on 144.39. Both the mobile and the HT will do it. I'm still in droop mode. Let's get up.
So they have a basic TNC in.
TNC built in, GPS built in, and a triple band receiver, 2-band transmitter built in for $289. The new 2Ds are guessing at about $550, but like everything else, it comes down in time. So, in addition to just voice communication, which the clarity, could anybody tell the difference between the FM and the digital? No? Well, to us, we noticed a huge amount of difference when you get out of the echo of the room and the echoes of the two systems.
There was no static on here.
There was no static.
The wide, I noticed, sounds really nice.
We like wide. We tend to go to the wide quite a bit, but when you're mobile, you kind of like to see that range information too. So let's troll through some of the menus. Everybody's concerned with programming. Ernie, when he got his, he spent a few minutes And he says, hey, by the way, can you program my radio? And I said, well, sure. I'd gone in and I changed his call sign in a clone program and put it on a micro SD card. Every rig has to have a micro SD card if you're going to store or transmit pictures. And that's one of the things, but that's how you also program it. You can write to it or read from it. So in a matter of, where's Ernie? Over here. What'd you take, once you got this SD card in, how long did it take you to program your radio?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. That's about as fast as it
Put
does.
the card in, you go upload. Bing,
Now,
everything's in there.
but maybe you don't like to do that. Maybe you're the old-fashioned kind of guy that wants to go into all these menus.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Each menu is, let's go to display menu. So you've got all your display functions, and again, it's a combination of the scrolling to go down through the different menus, because in this one there's 7 choices. If you want to go with brightness, you click on brightness, and now you can increase your brightness. So everything that can be put in on the software can also gone through here and touched up in the display. And the neat little button on the back side, it takes you back 1 level. On the HT, you push and hold the display button, a little tougher to see. You push and hold the display button, and you come up with a scrolling line menu. 1, 2, 3, up to 11. And then you push enter to go forward, and the display to go back. And then each of those have menus. So it's a little tougher to navigate, but it's still doable if you want to spend the time. Again, these can be programmed from the same micro cards, but you do have to run different software. There's a different configuration software for the 1D is the 400. So either one is programmable. You can put your frequencies in, you can do all that, or you can just take and copy a list from somebody. The other nice thing is, if you're unhappy with where you're at, you just push the talk and you've saved where you were at and you're back to where you want to be. Key the mic and you're home. So you don't have to sit there and back in and back out. So we got APRS running on frequency 2. We've got all your repeater information on frequency 1. You can run, and the mode is called C4FM. That's the technical mode that you're running. The digital mode is C4FM. Yaesu's cloned it. You can run that now on HF. Their brand new 991 has C4FM built in for HF as well. So they're trying to push it out towards the other markets.
That just use a lower bit rate for the lower frequency.
Yep. So we have C4FM plus the FM. We have the voice, we have the digital, and we have the data. We're not done yet. We have group mode. Can you got your ring? Go to group mode and do it on 04 simplex, please. Group mode sits here and will poll in digital for anybody that's around here. And it should come up with his call sign both here, and well, my truck's not on group mode. This is handy if you're actually in an exercise. You got yours on here? Oh, I got you on here. Oh, I got this radio on here. So group mode will tell you in an instance, you tell all your responders to go to group mode. It'll give you a visual clue on here. You can scroll through and see where everybody's at or who's checked in. So you can check in both verbally or if you just go to group mode. The problem with group mode on the repeater is it's transmitting a burst of digital about every 30 seconds to poll who's out here, who's here, who's here. It's used to transmit the pictures. That's the biggest function of the group mode, is that when you want to transmit a picture, you tell everybody to go to group mode and boom, that's where they're at. So you have to turn group mode off, or you sit and you're sitting there transmitting digital right over the top of everybody.
The mobile doesn't take photos, right?
Yep, it
Oh,
can.
does.
Sure. Yeah, it uses the same mic and it plugs in a different area. It plugs in the digital area. Go to group mode.
So you use the handheld microphone, is that?
Yeah, the thing is, unless you got an extension, this is the range of wherever you put it. One of the inconvenience that a lot of our guys is your microphone plugs into here, so this here has to be somewhere close to your vehicle, but yet you've got a remote control head that controls everything. So they're a little unhappy with the fact that this cord on the original mic is so short. Well, I had an FT90 in my truck, and so when I put this in, 2 of the 3 cords that I had extended because the radio was behind the back seat worked. The mic worked and the speaker worked. What didn't work was the control cable to the head, because it's a totally different head. So, let's get the right microphone here.
Does the normal microphone plug into the control head or the radio?
The radio.
No other EAC?
Yeah.
88, 89, 350,
All
all
right,
of
so what you get to transmit is a photo. And what it's doing, it should be transmitting to whoever wants to hear it. Like it or not.
Oh, nice picture, actually.
You can't view it.
And it'll save it on the SD card. It doesn't have any internal memory for this. It writes it right to the card.
Okay.
And then sends it. Let's take another one.
Unless you have
Yeah, it's not going to take another one until I send that one. So now in digital mode that's transmitting, it's going to transmit it until it sends its picture. It takes probably about 2 minutes. I learned that the battery on the little HT doesn't last for too many pictures standalone. Ah, we're done. So now we've sent a picture. Not only have, and it says it's completed, so if Dave was in group mode, he should have a copy if he has an SD card. Anybody else should have a copy. By the way, we're on 04 simplex, so we're not taking this over the repeater. Otherwise, it would go over the repeater. And I don't know, you know, signal strengths are signal strength. If somebody on FM wanted to come in while you're transmitting a picture, it probably would distort the picture and probably fail if the signal was stronger than anybody else.
Is there error correction?
Yes, I believe there is.
Does the picture go to his card? Or
Yes, for the HTs it goes straight to the card. To the 400s it goes to the card and will display what is coming in. So you get the option because you got the bigger colored touchscreen head.
How big can the memory be?
Anywhere up to 32 gigs.
32 gigs.
I've been buying the 16 gigs right now, just kind of middle of the road. And it shoots a normal JPEG picture, so you can take the card, plug it into your computer at home, and pull off. Now, the intensity, they're only 320 by 2 something. So we're talking 1990s level photo quality. But again, we are transmitting it, and you get them 2 or 3 gigabytes big, and they're just going to take forever to transmit. And it's certainly clear enough to see. All right, so at the end of the day, we have 2 different ways to track people. We can do it through APRS, standalone, on frequency, on the B-band. We can track through the repeater. Every time you transmit in a digital narrow mode, it's transmitting your location. You can use it as a GPS function. You can program in latitude, longitude, or you can, of course, select a call sign and navigate to that. You can store your home location in there. Let me pull up some of the screen. I guess I was going to do that. Oh, there you are. The other nice thing with this is, like I was saying, it has multi-buttons. It has another layer of menus. If you can see, the very bottom row is 4 buttons. And maybe you can't. You can all scooch up a little. But if you want to do some more maneuvering, you push the F button. Now you've got 2 more rows of touch buttons on your monitor screen. And they're all the common things that you have to do on a daily basis. For instance, you can change your beacon to on or off if you wish not to transmit an APRS beacon. If you want to physically, manually transmit a beacon, you can do that. The other nice thing is you get a list of everybody this receiver has heard on APRS. And the list, and this one is 100 contacts. Well, I cleared it off. I lied. This one's brand new. I haven't had this on there. The farthest one is W9DOR, fixed. And if I touch him, It's not showing me where he's located, but he's on the other side of the
I
pond.
bet he's in the Door Peninsula.
Door County.
We have a Digi on Empire Tower, and that pulls all the signals off of Wisconsin, so you get a lot of traffic coming across on the Digi.
So to be clear, the APRS data doesn't come through the digital repeater.
Correct.
It comes through the
It's a
APRS.
standalone on 144.39 on the
Okay.
second band of this radio.
So
So-
the APRS backbone is recommended.
Yeah, yeah. You'll get data ranging and direction from the repeater, but that doesn't take up a lot of bandwidth. You can still carry on a conversation. It transmits when you talk.
Okay.
It doesn't automatically transmit.
On
APRS.
voice narrow, you might want to explain narrow from wide. You did it on voice narrow, but not wide.
Okay, well, voice narrow splits the 25 kcs to 12 and a half, 12 and a half. So when you're talking, you're using half, and the data is then using the other half at the same time. Voice wide uses that whole span for voice. That's why your clarity goes up. The other thing we found that if you're hearing somebody badly on digital, and you go over to FM, you're hearing them badly on FM too. D-Star, you had to be fairly strong to the repeater or station before you started D2R, R2, D2. And that happened in you could almost see the repeater sometimes, a tree or a building or something. This has a lot better range for digital. Now, the downside of that, it sucks juice, almost 50% more in a digital transmission. So in a battery situation, you're going to burn through a battery a lot faster. With the mobile units, it's not as big of a deal. So you're doing a lot of things. I was going to head towards the menus. There's just so much stuff here to have fun with.
One of the surprises I had, Mike, was going down the road and got a weather alert.
Yep.
So if the weather service fires off a weather alert, this thing switches over and to the weather channel and nothing.
You can set the alert on any of the 10 weather stations. You can turn the alerts on and off, and they will let you know when they're
The
at.
D-Star does that too.
Yep, it probably
It's
does.
just over the weather band, it got an alert.
Yeah, it's sort of like, surprise, what's this? Flat ice?
But it doesn't switch back. Mine doesn't switch back. If the weather alert comes on, it stays on that, you gotta manually push back if you wanna go back to the station.
Did this switch back? Because I've
And
never.
push
got-
back to the, you have to push back to memory mode.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you gotta do the
Just
same
push the
thing.
memory
Just
button.
push it back here. One of the neat features from the APRS stuff, you can't see it because this is brand new radio. I just plugged it in tonight. There's one little bar. It's elevation. As you travel, it plots your elevation. It shows you your elevation. Ups and downs. In Benzie County, we have nothing but dips and noodles. So my screen out in the truck goes up and down and up and down. That's one of the functions.
Does it have a numerical readout then on?
Yeah, it
elevation?
gives you a basic ballpark of intervals of elevation. Of course, time is set through the system, which is pretty standard. And this is your satellite locks. It'll show you what birds you're actually locked onto. And right now I'm seeing one, and that's it. So I don't have a GPS lock on this down here.
Yeah, for a basement, that's.
And I'm seeing a bird, and if I could get close to a window, I would probably see more birds. But that's the Earth, you know, and as the birds, it'll lock up on 12 birds at once. So it's pretty accurate. And when you look at the APRS, oh no, we lost the signal. When you look at this and zoom in on it,
The remote's right next to you.
To your left.
It's happy now.
You're good.
okay, when you zoom in on this, it really shows defining, and I can't get it to zoom, Dave. I just got to zoom.
It's a touchscreen. Use it
Oh,
on your iPhone.
yeah. When you zoom in on this, it's plotting. You can set the APRS to do two things. You can set it to transmit blindly every 1, 2 to 20 minutes, or you can do a smart beacon, is what they call it. There's like 5 different smart beacons, and you can change all the parameters. But basically what it says, when you start out, go over 5 miles an hour, or slow down, it transmits. When you turn 90 degrees, it'll transmit. When you turn about 22 degrees around curves, it'll transmit. Anytime your direction changes, it'll transmit. So it keeps track of it. As you can clearly see, we're tracking down. Now what happened here, we either went through the parking lot or we didn't get a beacon set out. So now what it did, The next time it locked up on a signal, we were way down here on Hammond Road.
Yeah, because I watched Ernie drive right through Long Lake earlier today.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Water to gas.
So, depending on how you have it set up, and I tried to set these up leanly so they're not transmitting every minute. I mean, that just seems a little much. I set it up for 2 minutes or on the smart beaconing. So, and sometimes we don't get out of Traverse City very well. Dave's got a gateway, and the Empire Digi is up there too. Hopefully that's going to be changing. Hopefully we're going to have APRS Digi right here close to town, so it won't be a matter or a problem. Actually, look at this. I laid this down, and I now have about 7 satellites that it's picking up right here in the basement. Yeah, so you lay it down horizontal, it's happier. So it really is remarkable. That's the antenna for the GPS. They recommend in the book to install them, to put them right up on the dash. Well, I can't do that. I did do that. I have Velcro. And when I get out, I put the thing down out of the sun because it's black and it gets hot fast. There is a mount that goes on there. I didn't do it for tonight's class. The mount is not exactly what I'd call robust. It's pretty flimsy, but they designed it so you could bend it and tip it to whatever angle you decided to mount it. They gave you some 2-sided sticky tape for it. Well, in the heat, that doesn't work. So you'll end up probably wanting to screw it somewhere. I found that it works really good, besides my Velcro, in the ashtray. I can pinch it in the ashtray, and it works just right for down there. And I'm still locked up on all the birds that I can handle. But that's one of the other screens that this is available. The basic bottom ones are voice. It shows VFO, so that's 144, and there's a birdie in the room here, surprise. Your squelch, you can change your squelch, the mute, and this is the other item that's really cool. Dennis, why don't you key yours up on something like 5.2? Dave, key yours up on 5.8 or something. I'm going to key up on 5 something. I'm still in group mode. I'll key up on 4. It's a scope. You're cruising around, you want to see who's on the air. I've used it out in Benzie County. I know when 8.6 is up. I can see 8.6. Everybody keying up randomly? Yeah. Just key up randomly. All right? And to go to that, all you got to do is touch it. Or you can scroll, if you're on the right band, you scroll right to that frequency that you're seeing on the band scope. So I'll hit the band scope, I'll say, oh, there's a big signal, and I either touch it or zoom in, and bang, it's 8.6. Oh, 8.6. So you can instantly see 5.2 or simplex frequencies. Anything you can receive comes up on the band scope. We've got a lot of noise here, so you're seeing a lot of noise here too. Not very clear defined signal strengths on some of the band, but it's basically a full band scope, so it tells you what's going on at a glance. Scope on, scope off. All right. Let's see, have I lost everybody? Group mode, digital modes, FM modes, and at the end of the day, it's a great FM transceiver. The audio is good. You can adjust, everything's adjustable, audio, mic gain, squelches, the whole 9 yards. Anybody have any questions? Yes?
You say it drops to the lowest common denominator, so somebody's talking in the digital mode and I come on and just playing analog. Does theirs switch over to analog so the 3 of us can talk?
Sure does. Let me try to demonstrate that. All right, right now it's on auto FM mode. Testing, 1, 2, and as long as you're on the right frequency, like simplex.
What are you on,
04 simplex. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on benzene. There we go.
Okay, now I'm on.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's on FM. I'm on digital. So I just pulled this over to the line VW. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you on FM? Okay, go to FM.
Okay, I'm on that.
Now, I'm talking digital, I just talked digital. He's keying up. You gotta say something.
KG4, KG.
He's pulled you automatically over to FM. He's pulled me, well, I'm not in auto mode, I'm still on digital. I wasn't in automatic, so I
I
can
can
pull
pull.
people back over to digital mode. But I'm not hearing the FM because I'm not in auto mode. So we go to auto mode, and so now I'm over on FM too.
Would you see the signal strength?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're paying attention,
Yes.
theoretically, you know this. Why wouldn't you want to be on auto mode? I could see not being in auto mode, just pissing everyone off,
Well, yeah, no,
needing everyone.
you have to leave auto mode if you signed out and the QSO's over and we want to go back to digital, someone has to bring back to digital. So someone could key up digital.
Why would they need to bring back?
Because then they get the extra
Get the range.
information.
You get the range function and how many miles you're back.
Gotcha.
You get the audio. In a mobile, the digital is a lot louder. You have more audio on the digital
The
side.
dynamic range of it, or?
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, if you're talking FM and someone pulls you over to digital, I have to turn it down about a quarter turn on the volume. It's just loud. So it's all audio.
But it's, you're full quieting, or you're not. You're in or you're out. Now with analog, you get noise as the signal gets weaker, and
Right.
then you get static, and then you barely hear it. But with digital, like this digital, you're full quieting. You don't need much of a signal to be
Yeah.
full quieting until it starts, the data starts breaking up. It stops decoding all of the data, and then you get that R2D2, and then it drops out.
The R2D2 on here is not that noticeable. It's
Well,
not
I mean,
the
it's
same.
probably set to
yeah,
drop out quicker.
Right. It's not the same. This is imposing digital code over an FM carrier. So your FM carrier kind of carries some of that through as opposed to the D-Star where it does just there or nothing. You can hear people, like I say, if it gets to the point where you're missing words on digital, you go to FM and you're not hearing them. They're so faint in the noise, you're not hearing them either.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you can pull out, so you can still carry on a conversation in marginal digital.
Yeah, because when D-Star Repeater Travers first came up online, it was the coolest thing because you didn't need much of a signal to hear full quality audio.
Right.
Well, now we know that we get R2D2 because even our signals get too weak to the point where it's not decoding all the data.
Mike, is there, I mean, I can envision a situation where you want to lock everything in digital. Maybe you don't want everybody with a scanner in town to find out that you got a school bus full of kids that have just gotten run over or something. Can the repeater itself be locked into a digital mode?
Yes. The repeater has 4 modes. Auto, and when I say one or the other, I'm talking receiver, transmit. Auto, whatever comes in will go out that same way. You can lock in either FM, digital narrow, or voice wide on the receiver and or transmitter. So you can force everything in FM, you can leave it on auto and force FM and digital in to whatever out. Digital out, voice wide, or FM. So you can program the repeater, but you have to physically be there to do that. So yes, you can force any or all or both.
But during an exercise, could you not put your station radios in fixed mode instead of auto? So that
Could, yeah. But then we
From
wouldn't
point to
hear
point during the
anybody on
exercise.
FM per se.
Right, but if you wanted to keep details to digital receivers only,
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yes, you can do that.
The downside is if somebody talks on analog, you can't hear them.
You'd miss that.
And again, signal strength may, if they're closer to the repeater than someone else, it may garble that transmission just like any FM collision, if you will. But yeah, you
Just tell them
can.
that it's been patiently waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's killing me.
Your answer is probably no. Short answer. Do you have any experience or any comment on the FT2B?
There's a lot of speculation. Don, KI8KR, got on the bandwagon. He got tired of waiting, so he picked up a 1D to play. We're supposed to have both bands in digital, so A band, B band are all supposed to have digital functions, and we're kind of holding our breath if it'll cross-band repeat. But it is also a touch screen, much similar to this one. So everything can be touched directly on the screen, and that your pictures, instead of having to take the HT and plug the card into an external reader to see your picture, it will come up, I assume, on the HT screen as well.
So that's not available yet?
No, they're probably holding them till Dayton. That seems to be the prevalent thought. They're gonna dump them at Dayton. So,
What I discovered between this one and the D-Star was the programming of this one from the headset is so easy. You remember, if you guys use 880 and you're going through all the menus, and then you hit sub-menus, and here you hit sub-menus. This one pops up in like, Mike's got a program now for like benzene fire and all that. Well, I don't want to listen to that. I go on there, and if you come up to the scan mode, and you come up to, you highlight the scan frequency you don't want to listen to, and you hit skip. That's it. Bang, it skips over. It doesn't stop at it anymore.
It does do crossband repeat also, you know, in the
this rig does.
Right.
Yeah, you push and hold what the
Bottom three.
bottom 3 buttons and power it up, and it goes instantly into crossband repeat. And you won't find that anywhere except online. Yaesu is one of the few companies, I think, that puts out a full manual in English. This isn't German, French, and Italian all stuck in here.
Not Japanese English?
This manual does not include the 100-page supplement for APRS or the 60-page supplement for wires.
Once you've learned all this stuff, you got it down pat how to do everything you want to do, how long can you go before you have to reread the manual?
I've got 4 rigs of my own at home, and I'm afraid that sometimes I have to program in a frequency. I have to go looking for the manual. I don't play with them enough. None of us do. I've gotten rid of the fancy little Benzie FMs. The neat thing with this is it also shows the frequency above it, and you can reverse that. If you want the frequency, you hit the reverse button in there, and it'll put the big frequency with the little bitty Benzie FM. And it does the same on the HTs, although the best way on the HT, in this dual mode, I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty small for our old eyes. You push and hold the AV button, and you've now gone to mono band to where you can almost see it. And of course, if you turn the light on when the light is on. So you've knocked out one band effectively, but now in this one, it does have the tag also in the screen, so you get both. You get frequency and your tag at the same time, which is kind of cool. And you can switch this around to do either way, if you want the bigger tag or the bigger frequency. So that's kind of a handy feature as well. That's about all I can think of without boring everybody to death. Any other questions?
So APRS depends on the availability of a digipeater, so you have to be in a digipeated area.
Yeah. Yeah, let me,
They're all on the same frequency?
yep. Everything in the United States, 144.39. You see all those little dots? Most of these, not all of these weather stations are gateways. So as you're traveling, you really don't run out of coverage. And how you can tell is that if you touch windows,
You broke it.
if you touch these, it'll show the line. Oh, I know it's still on. Yeah, it's bringing up everything.
That's because the hotspot's not in the window
As you
anymore.
can see, it gets pretty active down in the populated areas. So you really don't run out on a mobile ring. You won't probably ever run out of digi ranges. But to answer your question, there are plenty around. I went all the way to the bridge. And they have their EOC beacon up there as well at St. Ignace at the State Police Post. It's a gateway. So anywhere in that area, you have to get hard pressed. The other nice thing is the freighters, we can go out to Frankfurt and it shows all the freighters out there too. I'm not sure how they get in. I don't think they're using APRS.
Maritime tracker?
Whatever they do. There's some at the Sioux. You can zoom in, but all your freighters are tracked as well. So you can sit out there and say, oh, that's
the KG8 frequency.
it's
Marine
the Marine
system,
digital.
yeah, it's on marine band.
Yeah. There aren't very many ships right now.
They're just including it on this filter, is basically what they're showing.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see something cool, you have to go to Marine Tracker and go look at the English Channel.
Oh, really?
It is amazing. Or San Diego, or, I mean, it's incredible to see the number of ships.
Go a little more to the west here to pick up something.
There, see, it's up. They're in the port up here in Minnesota. So as the ships go out, there's actually not that many. There's a few ports in there in the ports right now up in Minnesota loading. But you get all that information. The Coast Guard cutters this winter, you could track and see where they were making their paths around St. Ignace and through there in the straits and that. So you get a lot of information on it. And this website's accessible, aprs.fi. That's how you get to the website for that kind of tracking.
Is there an app, phone app for that?
Yeah. John actually wrote one for the Apple phone. His is called iPhone, IAPRS.
I always use Open APRS and it just doesn't show the stations that you're showing.
It does, it has so many overlays on it. It gets kind of cloudy with advertising and some of the stuff that they put on top of there. But, yeah, it's on for all the phones. And it's a useful tool. Our emergency manager is pretty happy with it. He, you know, during an exercise, he can visually just punch up and see where the assets are. He bought us the first 2 HTs back in, what, September? So that we could actually test the system on digital, because nobody had digital up in Benzie as well. And we want to link our 440 in Frankfurt to the 2 meter and give us a little better county footprint until we get our 2 meter up in the air. That's our plan anyway.
So how will Grand Traverse communicate with you guys over there without having, I mean, is there any way our system can link with yours so that we're sort of like one gigantic group?
Wires, yes.
Is it wires?
Wires would be probably the easiest if the internet's up. The other one would be a crossband repeater. So that could be done too.
Sometimes it's, you know, like we want to talk to you guys, but okay, we got to go there. I can't quite get into your repeater. You can't quite get into our repeater. There should be.
Well, the theory is there though that if we bring everybody together on a crossband, I mean, you're running a net, we're running a net, and all of a sudden we've got all this net traffic, and no one can talk to anybody because you know we're kind of off the lighting. So that's kind of where I think the 5/8 simplex frequency kind of works out. If we wanted to go direct, if we could maintain a simplex link from the EOC or whatever, that is kind of our backbone. We use D-Star for a backbone from Paul Oliver to the EOC up until Fusion. And now we're just doing it on Fusion. We got an HT that goes downstairs and there, Paul Oliver runs, I don't know how Munson does it. Paul Oliver has a situation room with their 800 megs or 900 megs radios in it. And they gather around a table and that's, you know, where they are. So we have a place at their table. But our comm room is 2 stories up in the little penthouse on the roof. And so we have to transmit the information without running up and down the stairs. And so we use an HT in there and we just talk or say whatever we got to do to get it up to the comm room. So, and like I said, we were using D-Star from up there to the EOC so we could have a direct link all the time. And now we're using Fusion.
You still plan to use D-Star for if there's a statewide event?
We're not getting rid of our D-Star. We keep one in the EOC and one in Paul Oliver and one in the comm band, isn't there?
Yeah.
So we have 3 D-Star radios, and at the end of the day, they're great dual bands, so we haven't lost them.
There are plans to, that they will park on reflector 24A for those who know D-Star. If there's an event, and they'll have somebody staffing the EOC, that's what I hear.
Well, the last exercise that a lot of people played in, they were supposed to do something on D-Star, we never heard a peep.
Yeah, well,
No one, and they have the ability to bring in anybody with a D-Star system into the group. They have the ability to write that program, that's great. All right, any other questions?
I want to thank Mike for coming over and looking at